Awesome. We're live. Great, guys. So thanks for coming to today's session. I'll just get my screen open in a moment so we can go through some of the material. Let's get our guides open. Just bear with me for a moment. Alrighty, and in the meantime, feel free for the people that just joined, feel free to get your AI tools open, such as ChatGPT or anything you use, maybe Gemini. Just for the time being, you'll be able to follow a lot of what we're learning today in those tools, and we'll talk about what other tools exist and what you can use. Today, I'll be using Nexus, which is our in-house tool, to do the demonstration. But again, yes, you can follow using your favorite tool at the moment. Great. So let me know if my screen is coming through. Is that coming through for everybody?
Yep.
Awesome. Great. So we'll kick off. So today we're going to learn practical AI skills for business. It's going to be a live hands-on training session. So I have some software open and we'll be going through some use cases, just some typical ways of how to kind of interact with AI. Just go to the next slide. So again, just an outline for today's session. We'll have a lot more time for Q&A, especially for people to put their hands up, give us some, real scenarios that they're trying to traverse with AI, and we can troubleshoot and build those processes out during this call. So a lot more interactive. We'll go into, so we'll go through our introduction, hands-on. We'll go into our programmatic prompting experience. So we have a bit of a guide we can follow, and that'll teach you some skills of how to really direct AI to do exactly what you want it to do consistently. And we'll go into our QA. Again, an introduction about who I represent and who Veso AI is. Again, we're an Australian research lab. We were founded in 2022, and we're founded by industry leaders in artificial intelligence, everyone from people developing tools to large language models. Our core mission is to make AI useful. Since then, we've released products, dozens of white papers, open source programming libraries, and we grow ventures internationally. So we help the world uptake the latest in AI innovations. We're very focused on the privacy aspect of AI, and we teach a lot of that in terms of how to stay safe when using these magnificent tools. So there is a trade-off, and you have to be aware of it. Do feel free to take notes and ask questions. Put your hand up when you need to, and I'll answer your question. We'll have 20 minutes, probably a little bit more today. Are we sent a recording? Yes, you'll be sent a recording of this session. Yes, you will be. Great. Now, for today's session overview, we're getting hands-on with the AI tools to learn the key principles. We're going through our prompt guide for techniques and learning new techniques together. And then we'll spend some time in a QA session to learn more about the key skills and processes that people are facing. We have people here across the spectrum of different types of roles. So we've got people in education, we've got people in content curation, we've got people in operations, programmers. So we have a pretty diverse cohort today. It's really exciting to see what we can do together. And again, we'll get to our AI Q&A after. So I'm going to just get our software up and running. So give me a moment to present that. And we can kick off with some basic skill building. Great. Great. All right. Screen should be sharing in a moment. Awesome. So we'll start from the bare basics. So we're looking at Veso Nexus at the moment. It's an AI application where you can generate content from simple prompts. You can generate images, you can modify images, you can do a bunch of stuff with AI. You're also able to save and share your prompts with your team, which we'll get into in a moment. You can do this traditionally, offline in a Word doc. There are ways to do this without software. So don't feel that if you don't have this software, you can't do it. We've got the chat, which we'll jump into in a moment. We've got a place for notes in this application. I'll get into how that really helps us speed up our AI workflow. We've got our templates on the marketplace that already exist. So things that help us generate employee letters, for example, generate buyers from CVs, heaps of different little automations for running a business. We've got a profile section, and I'll fill this out together in a moment to show really like what a system that knows about you and can contribute that information to the AI feels like, and why it's superior to some of the things we see on the market at the moment that have no awareness of who you are. Makes the AI journey a lot better. But I'll leave that empty for now. And I'll leave the team empty for now. So we'll come back and look at that in a moment. So I think right from the top, we'll start with the most basic generative AI use case, which is just text to text. So I'm going to put something in that I'm working on, or maybe an idea I want to flesh out, and I'll have the AI come back to me. So I'm going to start right up here, and I'm going to generate a, let's just say, a business plan outline. I want to do an AI company, and I want a business plan outline in how to do that. So we'll start from the very highest text generation prompt. So we'll start with, we usually start with some sort of intent. So I'll keep it pretty simple now, and I'll get into the advanced prompting later. So I want to generate a business case outline, or I want you to generate, and AI typically interacts really well, generative AI, when you sort of direct it this way, instead of just being blasé. So giving it an instruction works really well. So I want you to generate a business plan outline, because I know that the response is not going to be infinite. So maybe I break down my task into an outline, and I can fill that in a moment, which I'll show people how to do. So I want to generate a business plan outline for an AI education company that scales workshops online, that presents, maybe was a better word here. And I'm going to send that off. I'm going to get that generated by AI. So that's going to take a couple of seconds. That's getting sent off to the AI now. It's taking my prompt in, and it's trying to understand how it should respond to it while generating the response. Now, in a few moments, I'm going to click over to my inbox, and I can see that that text is being generated. That request is now living in my inbox. So it is quite easy, where you can generate something, come to your inbox, and grab what gets generated. So we'll wait a couple of seconds for that to come back. All right, great. So we have this feedback here, and it's giving me exactly what I asked for. It's giving me an outline for a business plan for an AI education company. So I'm going to copy this text, and I'm going to go and work with this. So I'm going to pop it into a note. Now, if you're using ChatGPT to do this, obviously it comes up, so you can open a Google Doc and you can start to copy things over. We've made it really easy in Nexus, where within the same product, you can copy out of AI and start working and expanding content. So right in here, I've pasted in what came back, and it's formatted it nicely for me. So now I know I've got a pretty good outline of what I need for an AI, for a business plan for an AI education company. So up here, I'll just add a heading, just make my life a little bit easier. I'll call this the AI education company business plan. So this has already saved me half an hour to a few hours of going and thinking about, where do I need to be and what do I need to generate in this business plan. It's given me a core outline. My job as an expert is to come into here. Yes, it can. That's exactly right. So it's taken the markdown that the responses come in, and when I've pasted it into the notes, it's formatted the markdown because the notes support markdown. It's a great question, AJ. So the idea there is that you are, like, our note editor supports markdown. So you can actually copy this into other systems that support markdown, and it'll keep your formatting. It's really useful when you're crunching through a lot of documents, a lot of content. So I have a basic outline now. This is cool because it auto saves as well. So if I'm doing something a click away, it's not going to immediately delete everything I've been working on. So I'll just close this off for now. Now I can see in my notes, I've got this here living. So I can come in and edit it at any time. I can close that off. Great. So what do I want to do now? I want to be a bit more intuitive now. I want to use chat. So I'm going to copy all of this. I'm going to highlight it all using Command A. It's Control A on Windows. I'm going to copy. I can right click and copy, but I'll use my shortcut, which is Command C or Control C for Windows. I'll head over to my chat. I'll create a new chat. Now, a chat is a question answering scenario with a generative AI partner. So you can imagine it's like your generative AI colleague. So it's just ready here to listen to what you have to say and try to help you out. You can give it some instructions and get it to do things. So I'm going to call this chat so I can refer to it later. My business, my AI education business plan chat. So I can see on the left here, it's really easy for me to find it later when I get a lot of content. So I copied everything over from my note, but what do I want it to do? I might want the chat to flesh this out with a little bit more content and direction. So I've got the outline. Maybe I want it to fill it out a little bit more. So what I like to do is give the instruction, flesh this out. I usually use an equals, and I paste in all the context. And using this paradigm with AI typically is really robust. Like it means that you can give it an instruction equals and the content or context, and it seems to be very easy to direct. I use this methodology in my daily process using AI, and it's been the most consistent way to operate. So within the chat, I've given it an outline of what I want it to flesh out. I'm going to wait for it to come back to me. I'm going to copy that outline out and go back into my notes. And this is where I can start to build out my business plan really quickly. And out of that, I can actually expand and extend that business plan. Now, while we're on this process, this is me dictating. I'd love to hear any questions or answers or prompts that people would like to see while I'm doing this. Is there anyone want to put their hands up? If you'd like to see like a demo or
Yeah,
something
I'd like
else.
to see a prompt on kind of like, let's say, like a cold email outreach. That's kind of one that I come across a lot.
Great. Awesome. So what we'll do is we'll work with this and we'll create some cold emails that can go along with this sort of business. So the AI is thinking here to flesh it out for us. It's taking quite a bit of time today. Must be really hard for it to kind of be like, okay, how do I flesh this out? If you do tend to give it a challenging, ambiguous prompt like this, it does tend to take longer. That's just inherently how technology works. It wants to actually try and surface the best response for you instead of just giving you a fast response. So we wait for this to come through and then we'll create some cold emails. Okay, so we can see all I've had to do so far is put 2 commands into the AI, and this is what we've generated. It's even come up with a business name. That's great. So I'm going to scroll down here. I'm going to paste in what it's given me. And as you can see, the formatting is nice and outlined. Because I gave it nothing about a business name, it's decided, you know what? I'm going to call this Future Mind AI. It's pretty cool. So we're going to take that. It's given me some basics. So apparently it's founded in 2023 by experienced AI researchers and educators. Great, I'll use that. Mission statement, great. It's built that out for me. So as you can see, it's gone from the outline that it's generated to now filling out the document. Now, is that a realistic goal? As a professional, I have to come in and improve this content because that, in reality, I might be, no, actually, the target would be 1,000. So again, this is where you have to employ your own expertise with AI so that you're actually creating content that you can use and you're creating information that you can use for your business. So this is a really good guideline. Yep, that sounds great. I'm happy to do that. Target market, working professionals in tech, finance. Hey, look at that. University students studying computer science. Great, interesting. And computer companies seeking to upskill their workforce. So it's given me the basic Delaware C corporation if I was to set up in the States. Oh, it's given me a name apparently. So it's filled in the blanks. And this is exactly why you need to give it more context, because if it had more context about who I was, it would fill this in better. So this is really, really good. So it's trying to give me the best response for what I really like using AI for is if I was trying to do something, I would use this as a guideline, as a benchmark, because the AI is trying to give me the most probable content, which means I can reverse engineer that. And if it is saying that this is what the team should look like, I can understand, oh, maybe that's what the most probable team would look like, and it can help me actually in my guidance of what I need to do. So you can use the benefit of AI giving you the best possible probability of content to go, okay, maybe I should follow that guideline because that's what other people would expect of this sort of company. So it's good to keep that in mind. They can also use AI to do your ID generation and help you guide. So without going through all of this, we can see that a lot is being created now for this business plan. So I have a pretty good business plan that I created in, let's say, a minute, which could have taken me hours previously in my consulting life. This is a good starting point if I'm trying to advise somebody or work on something myself. We can see here it's even come through and given me the marketing strategy through and through. So we've got email marketing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that out and start prompting it down. So we can go back to that chat. I don't need to format all of this. I'm going to grab this and I'm going to go back and I'm going to ask it create a series of cold emails for this section. And again, I've given it some context. I've given it an instruction. I'm using the same chat to make it, to give it some relevance of what it's working on. And I'll show you how this works in a moment when we add stuff into our profile and into our team. So I'll let this spin and do its thing. In the meantime, while we wait, any other questions, any other directions you'd like to see, or things you'd like to see while we're going through this demo? Image generation, great. Yep, we can hop into that in a moment. So Nexus itself is built to, oh great, so we've got, it's popped out a bunch of different cold emails we can use to prospect. So this is obviously a awesome business strategy. I will use the same document just to keep it simple for us today. So I'll go down to the bottom here and I'll get rid of all this craft. And what I'll do here is, oh, that's annoying. I'll pop in our cold email strategy. And then we have a starting point to work on. So I can then expand or summarize this information as I need to build out my cold emails. So I can see my first email is to create a promotional workshop. My second email here would be to do a subscription offer for these workshops and what that subscription offer looks like, which is very, very interesting. And my third cold email would be to add people to a newsletter that talks about things that are important to certain industries. It's a monthly newsletter, rah, rah, rah. So that would be the typical boilerplate for a business scaling cold email. So instead of you thinking like, where am I going to go? What Google searches do I have to do? What videos do I have to watch? You can, to a certain extent, lean on AI to give you some outlines of where you need to go for you to do deeper discovery. So with one prompt, now we've got a cold email strategy that we can work on. But we're going to jump out. We're going to create some images by generating some AI imagery. Now, I'm going to go into our prompt guide for a moment to talk to this. So we have a prompt guide that we can share after this session. And in this prompt guide, you'll have a lot of techniques and a lot of guidance on how to do things like write really good image prompts. And this is going to be useful when you're generating content you can use in marketing, sales, all of that jazz, especially for concept work. So maybe you're trying to think of a product or something you want to work on. So what we want to do is we want to give a pretty good description of maybe let's say we want to create a landing page image for this company. So I want to generate a stack of books. So when we talk about the images, we usually put in commands separated by commas. So the first command should usually be the image you're trying to generate. So we're trying to generate a stack of books. So I want this generated in high resolution. I want this to mimic a HDR photo, so really high definition. Now, some knowledge of like photography and imagery helps a lot here because you're able to kind of direct how the image should be generated. But I'm trying to generate a stack of books, high resolution, HDR, realistic, no writing. I don't want any writing on the books. I want that to have a background that's blurred out, so a bokeh background. I want the color palette to be, say, let's say orange, and I want there to be realistic lighting in the scene. So with a couple of prompts here that are my go-to, I can click generate. And what's going to happen now is similar to what we saw at the start of the session. We're going to our inbox and we're going to see, we're going to pop to our inbox and we're going to see the image that was generated for us. So now we've got this image. So we're like, great, we've got a starting image we can work with. We can see our prompt by viewing the input. So we can copy this out and modify it as we need to. I'm not going to go into the advanced settings, but I'm just going to copy that image for now. I might just paste that image into our, should be able to do this. Oh no, I'll have to upload it. So I won't bother with that at the moment. But yeah, so generating images is quite straightforward. Images come out better, especially if you know how to direct how images. Great. So the images come out as I believe JPEG or PNG. So if I go to download this image, yeah, they come out as PNGs. So you can see that the actual image itself is much higher resolution. I'm able to then use this image wherever I need to in my content. So you're able to generate images that you can use across social media quite quickly, add some text to them and publish them. So again, now you're generating content very quickly. You can customize it out. Not at the moment, not within Nexus, but we are looking to add editor functionality. So it's more, it gets a bit closer to what you can do in Canva or in Photoshop. So that is coming with time. But yeah, this is really easy to grab out, pop into something. Can you ask a prompt to help you create better images? Yeah, so what I could do is I could copy this. I could go into my chat and I could say, improve this image prompt. So this is, again, we're using AI to improve AI. It's kind of like, you know, AI in AI, but I can improve this image prompt with more descriptive words for a better scene and output. And again, I'll just paste in my image prompt and we'll see what comes back. And I'll be able to grab that image prompt, pop it back into my image generator and generate something new. So that's the way you can quickly like prototype and work with tools like Nexus or ChatGPT or whatever you do use. You can use the AI itself to improve what you're working on. And yeah, that's really cool in what it does. Now I'm going to go and show some more advanced techniques in a moment, which are things like grabbing information. Okay, great. So the image prompt that's come back isn't in the format that I always like, and I'll explain how we can do this in a moment. So the image prompt has come back. I'm going to run this anyway to see what comes out. How does image gen deal with text output? Yeah, so we're upgrading our image API to be the latest, which essentially for the layman means we're going to be able to generate reliable text within images in one shot within the next month or so. So we're doing some testing of the feature before we ship it out. So it is coming. Great question, AJ. So you can see that this hasn't come out at all the way I wanted it to come out. But what I can do is I can be very smart now and I can go and create a prompt and I'll talk to what a prompt is as we create it. So a prompt is like a saved AI generation that has some rules. So I can just save this and use it whenever I need to. So I'm going to say this is an image prompt generator. And I'm going to say task. I'm going to give it a task and I'm going to make it look like code. Yeah, so what ChatGPT does behind the scenes is it takes your prompt and then it tries to be smart about it instead of just using your prompt. We give users the full control to declare exactly what they want to send to the AI. So we find that's better because ChatGPT just tries to assume it knows what you want and it usually doesn't come out with what you want. So we're going to make an image prompt generator. So this app here, or this prompt we're saving, is going to take my input and turn it into an image prompt, following the rules. Image prompt guideline. So it's just what we're doing here is we're just kind of going line by line and giving it some context of how to generate its response. So we'll just do a couple of things here. So the image prompt guideline is going to say rule 1, generate an, oh, maybe we just give it an example. All right, I'm going to save this and come back to this. So we'll just add some things in. So I'm just going to save this prompt. And now this prompt is available to me here. I can edit it or use it. I'll show you both of that in a moment. So if I go to my inbox now and I go and grab that image we generated before, I'm going to click view import. I'm going to copy that import and I'm going to go over here and edit my prompt. And I'm going to add that in as an example of how to write a image prompt. But what I'm also going to do is go and find google.com. I'm just going to go to Google and I'm going to say image prompt generation, image prompt. So where image prompt guide. So for example, I'm just going to go on. This is what I'm trying to show here is you can bring in rules and guidelines off the internet and put them into your prompt machine. So we can see that, how good can we get a image prompt? So I'm going to see what we have here. And I'm going to try and take the most advanced image prompt to give it guidance. So I'm not really happy with those. Is there a good prompt in here? Let's go down. Let's see if they can generate something that's really realistic. Right, there we go. So let's see what their full, okay, so they're using a full prompt there. So great. Okay, so what I was primarily looking for was just the prompt, but we can just go back for now. And we can get into the advanced stuff in a moment. For now, I'm just going to say this is the image prompt example. And then I'm going to go strict rule. And it tends to listen to strict rules when you add them in your prompt. So I'm going to follow the image prompt guideline and my strict rules. All right, so I'm going to pop in here. Each image command should be a few words separated by a comma. Strict rule, and I'll add another strict rule. Treat an image prompt like a technical item that outlines things like lighting and camera lens. So now I'm just getting a bit like, I'm seeing how far I can pull this prompt to give me really good prompts when I just run it. So I'm going to add in my input, and anything after this line is what happens when I run the prompt. So I don't need to declare anything else. I'm going to save this. I'm going to run this prompt now. I'm going to say a stack of orange books. So I'm going to let that run now. That's going to pop up in my inbox shortly. And I'm going to grab that and generate an image. So this is a very fair example of how to use prompts. Prompts are going to be very powerful in a moment. Let's have a look. Yeah, there you go. Awesome. That's one of our pre-saved prompts. Great. I'll try that out in a moment. Let's go to our inbox. So we can see here that in our inbox, it's added the prompt here. So I'm just going to clean this up really quickly. And it's kind of given us the guidelines. So we're going to see if this comes through. We can see it's still taking a lot from our original prompt guideline. Interesting. Why is it added an orange? Because we've put orange color. Interesting. So we're getting there. It's getting better. It's getting better from where we started. But then again, we can go into image generation for hours. So I don't want to pigeonhole into this. We can try another prompt, but we'll get into, I think one of the other principles I wanted to show everybody is how you can use AI to quickly summarize big topics and learn things. So this is another component that I really want to teach today. So if I was to use chat again, within the chat function itself, I can say discovery on AI education companies. Now this is a really cool technique that I'm going to teach. So I can go to google.com. I'll open up my so bear with me for a second. We'll open our browser. And what we'll do here is we'll go to AI education on Udemy. And I'll try to find some content that I'll try to froze there for a moment. I'll try to find some content that I can work off. So artificial intelligence. So I'll go to the Udemy page. Now, so this is a technique, right? If I want to use a lot of content off the internet to help me think and learn, I can, for instance, find a page here which has a lot of reviews, a lot of content, a lot of text that I can feed into the AI. So I can click Control A or Command A. I can then click Command C to copy or Control C. Again, that pasting content in is really valuable. I can say summarize the best ideas and give me a concept course based on this information that fits in. So I might be wanting to generate or create a course that fits in with what the market currently works with. I may not want to, and you see, I didn't have to clean anything. Now, this isn't the best technique because sometimes you do want to clean your data, but AI is ridiculously powerful. The models we use are ridiculously powerful, so they can sort of just run with it. So what I've done is I've given it heaps of context around, what the leading courses look like and how they're presented. And what I'm trying to get the AI to do is quickly get me to the finish line of what kind of courses I should be building. Because the worst thing to do is build courses for 3 to 6 months, for example, try them out for market and find out at the end, well, they were never going to fit in the first place because they never aligned. So again, I'm using AI to quickly go through different content and give me an output. So it thinks if I'm going to do some AI, this is what I got back. So this is what the guideline for a successful, say practical AI course would look like. So if I was to run an AI course based on Udemy, I would probably want to do things like covering machine learning all the way through neural networks. We can see that this is a much more hands-on AI training experience. And I'll go back to that in a moment. That might not be what I want, but I can see here that it's given me a full guideline of what we should be working on. It's given me a name. It's giving me essentially a course guideline based on everything that I just fed it. So it's tried to look for the best ideas, the best concepts, and then generate what that course would look like. And we can see here that most courses, again, this is going to sum up like an average of what it sees. So it's a really easy tool to quickly get to where you need to get to. So here I can get 16 hours of on-demand video. So it's telling me I should probably record some on-demand video. Again, working backwards in. I'll probably need some hands-on projects. I should give some Python code examples, etc., etc. If I go back to this, I may just say, great, but I'm looking for a course directed to business leaders teaching practical skills, not technical skills. So just like that, with one turn of the conversation, you can actually get it to cater the course to a different audience. So Now, what I just showed you, copying all that content in, the really powerful thing I find with that is if I'm, say, watching a YouTube video and there's a ton of content, a ton of comments, and I want to understand what everybody is really getting to and what they're getting out of it, I can copy all of those content, all of those comments. I can, is there an upload feature? There is an upload feature. We are working on the retriever, so I do want to come back and show that in another session. You are able to upload your files and work with your files, but it is, at the moment, it is improving. So I do want to demonstrate that in a later session. A great question. It works pretty well at the moment. You're able to upload your PDFs and docx's, but for a demo, we can jump into it in another session. Great. So I've got a guideline where I can go and create another note, because again, I just want somewhere to work. I don't want to waste my time going to a Google Doc. I just want to work in here. I can see here that it's actually created an AI for Business Leaders course for me. Great. So it's different to the technical course. So what's it going to go over? It's going to go over getting an AI strategy aligned with my business goals. It's going to go over identifying AI use cases. Great. That's all good and dandy. And it's going to go into what I should be presenting. So things like 5 hours of engaging video content, real world AI case studies, rah, rah, rah. So what have we done in the last 40 minutes? Without me presenting, for example, we've created a business case from scratch, which took about 3 minutes. We filled that business case out, which again took another, maybe say 3 or 4 minutes. We were then able to generate a stack of cold email outlines that we're going to use for the business. So one moment, where are we? Yeah, so we have our cold emails in here. We have our business strategy, and now we have a course outline. So like that inherently just shows you how powerful this software can be for your domain once you start to implement it into your day-to-day functions. So if you're writing documents that are technical or writing documents that require a lot of filling in, if you're working on content or creating new content, you can start to use Nexus or any AI product that you're very favorable with to start generating content quickly for you. Now I'm going to pass this to more of a Q&A session where people can put their hands up and talk to business cases that they want to see this system generate. So yeah, turning the mic back to everybody. Maybe John or Arthur, you can kick off and we'll go from there. Maybe anyone can put their hands up. Bill, if you wanted to come in with a use case, feel free. Yep. So Chaba, I didn't get your first name, just so I can address you.
Oh, yeah. Hi there. Yes, it's Karen.
Karen, hey Karen.
Thanks, Elias. Yeah, great presentation.
Thank you very much.
If we have a white paper,
Yep.
which is highly technical,
Yes,
it's expanding, can we put the contents and upload it into Nexus or a similar program, or say your program, and then pull out content as we need it for marketing purposes?
yeah, that's a great idea. So that is something you can do. So let me see if I can put together a quick demo of how we do that.
Sure.
So let's get a highly technical document up. So let's go to com and let's go for white paper. So we get a highly technical paper. Let's see if there's a white paper here. Oh, this is going to be very, very technical, what we want. So I'll just view the PDF for the time being, and I'll grab a bit of the paper. I'll just grab the first page, for example. Now, with the upload functionality, you'll be able to upload entire PDFs, and it'll be able to extract the insights from the PDF as it needs to. That works. It's just our retriever is being built out at the moment to be more robust. Right now, you have to be very strict about the questions you ask for it to reference the document. So we're doing some stuff behind the scenes to make that a lot more fluid. But I'm going to copy that PDF out. I'm going to create a new chat, and I'm just going to simply ask it, create technical marketing content based on this research artifact. Only give me prompts for marketing content. And again, equals, paste, enter. So we're getting that workflow where we're really just dumping in context as we're going, and it's creating a lot of value. Where eventually, I'll show profile and team in a moment, but you're able also to give it a lot of pointers in your individual profile and team, so that every time you start a chat, you don't have to declare who you are and what you're working on. And chats are more reserved for uploading very specific information of a task that you're working on. So that's the way you can use chat very quickly. So we've got some marketing content here that's come back, and I'm going to copy that out. And let me know if this is in line with what you were expecting or hoping to get out of the demonstration, Karen.
Sure. Yeah.
So we've got here just for reference, we see that we pasted in a let's just find where that document is. Yeah, we pasted in that RAG paper, which is retrieval augmented generation. So this is something I'm technically aligned with. So I get to then review how good this content that comes out is. So number one, yep, this is exactly what it does. So that's a good headline. This is exactly what retrieval augmented is known for. Augmented generation is like key for. It's what we build into our product. So hey, we just took some technical information and we created a really good starting point for our marketing. We have here as well the evolution of RAG from naive to modular. We see the different RAG paradigms, so things like corrective RAG, very technical things that can come out of your white paper. And down here again, introducing the latest frameworks and benchmarks, and another. So it's come back to me exactly with what I asked it for. It's come back to me with a couple of marketing strategies I can use to get this white paper out there, or maybe communicate that white paper to people. In turn as well, I can go back to that conversation. I'll give this chat a name so I can come back to it later. And what I want to do here is, thanks for that. Give me an email to send to my colleague to explain why we need to include RAG in our product. So this is an example as well, is where you can get technical content, you can dump it into the AI, and then you can use it to quickly generate things like outreach angles, messaging. So yeah, Karen, what else would you like to see while we're on this while we're in this demonstration?
Sure. Okay, that was awesome.
Awesome.
Okay, let me have a think.
No worries. Take your time. Anybody else, feel free to put your hands up. You're driving now, so feel free to take the driver's seat. So in that same, AJ, go for it.
Yeah, I was just curious. It says context aware at the top. Can you explain what that is, or what is that doing?
Yeah, awesome question. So we have technology, so this white paper here, funny enough, plays into what you just asked. So we built RAG into our AI product. And what that means is where I'm able to define my name here. And this is obviously getting extended with files and more training, but I'm able to train my AI on the fly. So it creates content for me and it thinks and works like me. So I can say, for example, my name is Elias. I run an AI training company. And I'll say my email is Elias. And I'm going to say that. And I'm going into my team, and what I'm going to do to quickly prime up my team is I'll just add some information from our website. So we'll go to veso.ai, grab some information off our landing page. Again, once you get really quick with it, you can really speed up your workflow because you get used to the shortcuts of copying everything and pasting it in. So I'll ask the AI, create a business profile of this business. Now, this is going to be interesting because mainly the landing page is a lot of links. So the AI has to now infer what we do based on those links. So we'll see how good it goes. It'll be interesting to see the output. But back to your question, context aware. So once we enable context aware, it's going to always reference our profile and our team when it's generating the content. So it's going to create a lot more customized content based on our needs. And that all comes down to what we declare in our profile and in our team pages. So we can see here that it's created a business bio for us. So I'm going to get rid of that here as a business. So I'm just going to go straight to here. So this is actually pretty good. So it's generated who I am. Again, look at that. It didn't have that in my email, but it referenced that from my profile. It's gone, well, the founder and CEO is obviously Elias, because when I got the prompt, I saw that in the profile, Elias is the CEO of Veso. So the AI itself can link ideas together really well. From what we see, it exhibits a really cool quality. So anyway, I'll save that for now. And now that everything's in there, the system itself is context aware. So I started this demonstration with context aware off. Now that we have context aware on, I can simply go in here and say, what should I do this week to grow my business? So I can ask a really general, off the cuff question to my AI assistant. And because it is context aware now, it will be looking into my information to give me the best response. And up here, I can just change this chat again, just to be descriptive. So let's just say this is a business weekly planner.
To who?
Oh, Siri's getting jealous, I think. How do I close off Siri?
Okay, cancelled.
I think I was talking about too much AI. All right, one moment. Technical difficulties with Siri.
Hello there, I'm Siri. What can I do for you?
How do we close Siri? Close Siri.
Okay, I found this on the web for how do we close Siri close. Check it out.
Yeah, Siri still isn't very good. How do we close this off? Sorry, one moment, everyone. I'll stop sharing my screen for a second. Oh no. Siri's taking hold. Oh, it's gone now. When can we voice talk to Vesa? I love that question. Very soon. We're doing text to speech as we speak. So there is a product guide. There is a product roadmap I'll be giving everybody after this, so you can see what's coming up. So you can, if you don't see anything in there that you like and you want to feature, you can put your hand up. Now, great question around the privacy, Karen. So I have a question about privacy when it gets uploaded to your software. So the great thing about working with Veso is all the content that gets uploaded to Veso or Nexus, all the content lives within Nexus at all times. When we generate content, we use a third-party API. We use Anthropic, which is published on our website, who has strict privacy control measures around how they deal with your data. But the difference with using our suite is when you delete your content, when you delete your data, the actual vector stores in the database is deleted. Now, you won't get that level of control using a direct product like OpenAI. You won't have that level of control, and you won't have that level of transparency. Because we have control over the engineering, we can give you that certification that, and that peace of mind that your content lives within Nexus. We always suggest against putting in too much personal information into these systems anyway. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. So coming back to where we just were. So look at this. I've just asked it one question, what should I do this week to grow my business? And it's just popped out. I can ask this on Sunday night. I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking, what am I going to do next week? We've got a blank stage ahead of us. I can pop in one question and it's already given me an update of you should be, promote your live AI training sessions, already done. Write an in-depth blog post about a hot AI topic. Thank you. Reach out personally. So it's telling me, hey, go reach out personally to 5 to 10 companies, host a free webinar, ding ding. Get engaging on LinkedIn, do the rest of it. So we can see here that like the moment you turn on, back to AJ's question, the moment you turn on context aware, the system just becomes infinitely more capable and valuable for your everyday tasks. Does that answer everybody's question?
To ask, with context aware as well. So when you have it enabled and you're continuously prompting, is that updating the context for future reference, or do we have to go back and update it in our profile?
That's a great question. So we did that previously in the product, and what we found was when we let it do that automatically, it kind of fall apart. So what I mean by that is when it was updating your memory without you specifically changing your memory, it would get really fuzzy. And that's typically what happens when you let AI drive AI. So at the moment it doesn't, but it's by design. When we had it doing that, it would make the results get really blurry. But in a chat, it will remember what you're doing in the chat. So that's why we always let people know, create chats for separate pieces of work you're working on, and it will remember what's going on in that chat. So that's one way to solve that problem, AJ.
Yeah, okay, got it.
And then context aware. Yeah, that's a great question. So if I'm working on a presentation, what I like to do personally is I usually work with a presentation outline. So create a presentation outline for my team. I want to explore developing a workshop together. So this is, again, another technique that you can use in all your AI tools. I call it outline and fill. So I start with an outline. Well, I call it, outline and fill. So we start with an outline, which the AI can generate really quickly. And then I fill out every section very quickly using the chat. So within the same chat, now that I've got it generating, I can then ask it to fill out the outline that comes in. So it's a really easy way to use AI to create a presentation. That's exactly right. So whenever context aware just listens to what's in your profile and team and in the chat. So if you start a new chat and you haven't changed anything in your profile and team, it's like a checkpoint. You can go back. So it won't get fuzzy and it won't remember stuff that you didn't want it to remember. And like inversely, in the chat, if you're having a good time and the chat's coming out correct, you can just keep on expanding on that knowledge. So given that, like within this same chat here, I've got a presentation outline for my team. So what I can do here is I can ask it to fill this out so I can use it. And it will reference what it just created. And it will fill out a presentation now. So back to Eugene, sorry, I always get your name wrong. Eunice, it can essentially in a minute here create the presentation. Then your job is to go in and fill out that presentation very quickly. So yeah, back to your question on that. That's how I would do it. I'd do outline and then I'd fill it in. Any other questions, Danielle? I saw you putting your hands up before, thinking about things. Anything from your end?
Not at this stage. I think it was a very good session, very good overview.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for the input. So I think I'm gonna use the last 5 minutes to wrap up and take the final questions in. We'll copy this out to close this off. So you can see that here. Like the Eunice's question, we've already.
Sorry, Elias, can you hear me?
Yeah, I've got you now. Yep.
Hey, Elias, thanks so much for this session. It was very, very informative. So I just want to chat to you just a little bit more about the chat agent. So what if I want to have a chat assistant with a special knowledge base? Is the prompt section the only place where I could interact with the chat assistant, or there is another place I could feed it knowledge and some other documents or links or images?
It's a great question. So we have like knowledge bases as a feature in the application. When people purchase the application from us, they can turn that on. It's an advanced function, but what it lets you do is upload different data, like different knowledge bases, and then you can reference those knowledge bases. So you can have a knowledge base for your marketing department, knowledge base for a project you're working on, and then you can reference that knowledge base in your chat. So we do have that functionality. It just has to be toggled on for an account. So I'm just showing a general account at the moment. That's a yes, essentially.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Elias.
No, that's all right. Any other questions around product or how to do things with AI before we wrap up? I'll take the silence as a unanimous yes. So I'll stop sharing now. I'll just jump into the next steps. So coming out of this session, thanks everyone for attending. I hope a lot of people got value. This was our first hands-on session with Nexus. Again, you can take a lot of this skill, apply it to ChatGPT, anything you use. If you like Nexus, if you like where we're going, I'll send an email after this. You can respond to. You can have a one-on-one session with me. We can jump into Nexus and how to use the product, as well as how you can use it in your business. And I will be sharing the prompt guide that we brought up briefly before, which is just a reference you can go to anytime you're using AI. So you'll be getting a bunch of content after this after this session over email. Before we wrap up, is there anything else anybody wants to say? Take a couple of minutes for ourselves.
I just thank you for such a good session. Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining.
Thanks so much, Elias.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, ditto. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot for coming
And
along.
where are you based, Elias? I can't remember. What's
Sydney.
Sydney? Okay. What part of Sydney?
I'm currently in. Are you Parramatta?
Oh, Sydney as well. Yes.
Parramatta.
Parramatta?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, thanks.
Awesome.
Up Northern Beaches. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a motorway across.
20 k's away.
Exactly. Awesome. No, it's great to interact with everybody here. It's been a great session, and yeah, looking forward to the next one. I'll be chopping up some of this content, and again, feel free to email me after if you've got questions or you're trying to do something with AI. I've always maintained an open inbox. I always love feedback. So yeah, we'll talk about the next steps after this. Thanks, everybody.